I've heard a lot of arguments about paedo-baptism, baptizing babies, and should you do it, and here's why these people do it, and here's why these people don't do it. And basically, for me, what it comes back to is this. Show me a single time in the New Testament when any baby was baptized ever. And if you can do that, then we can talk about it. But until that point, there's not a whole lot to build it on. The best thing we can do is like compare it to circumcision in the Old Testament. That gets into a whole thing, but it's like, well, if baptism is the new circumcision, that it represents a baby entering into this covenant kind of via their parents, then we should see it in the New Testament. That should be reflected in the New Testament somewhere. I mean, at least once. And if it's not, it's an uphill battle, it seems to me. Look with me at Acts 16. I'll show you an example where people say, no, see, babies were baptized. Acts 16:31, you may know this story. Paul and the Philippian jailer, Paul and Silas, is it Silas? I think it is. Yep, Paul and Silas get broken out of jail by an earthquake, right? And the prison guard says, what must I do to be saved? Paul, verse 31 says, well, Paul and Silas, they said, believe on the Lord Jesus Christ and thou shalt be saved. And thy house. Same goes for your house. This is not like a one-time deal for you. Same goes for your household too, right? Verse 32, and they spake unto him the word of the Lord and to all that were in his house. And he took them the same hour of the night and washed their stripes and was baptized, he and all his straightway. So people say, see, his whole household is baptized. So obviously there's kids in his household because every household has kids in it. And if there's kids, then there must be babies. And if there's babies, then, all of his household was baptized. And so babies are baptized here. And I'm not trying to make that sound dumb. I'm really not. It just is. It's some pretty huge steps that we're taking. And reading babies in here when no babies are mentioned. And not every household has infants in it. But here's why that approach to this passage does not make sense. Look at verse 34. It says, and when he had brought them into his house, he set meat before them and rejoiced, believing in God with all his house. All of his house is not only baptized, but they rejoice in believing the gospel. So anybody in his house who's baptized is also somebody who is able to understand the gospel and rejoice in it. Now, if you're going to argue that there are infants in that house who can understand the gospel and rejoice in it, and then they're baptized, fair game. But unless that's your argument, I'm going to stick to the fact that baptism is something represented for us in the New Testament that happens when somebody chooses to be baptized, not when somebody else chooses for them to be baptized. Hey, real quick, if this video has been helpful to you or you like what you see here, would you just hit that like button down below? It would really help us to reach more people. And if you're new to this channel, we invite you to subscribe as well for more Bible-focused content. Thank you so much for doing that.